Hey, it's Matthew. Look, if you're a new business owner or entrepreneur, I'm going to tell you the most important number that you need to get right. And most entrepreneurs and new business owners get this number wrong, and it jeopardizes the potential success of their business. That number is conversion. Conversion. What conversion means is how many people that you reach or are aware of your product or service, your business, how many of those will convert into actual customers. Okay, conversion or conversion rate. And most people get that wrong early in their business, and it jeopardizes their success. Let me give you an example, a personal example. So I've been selling educational products for many years, and years ago, I used to go to a lot of trade shows, right? So, I'd pack up, get on a plane, take a whole bunch with you, a bunch of equipment with you, head down to some hotel ballroom, set up, and you'd interact with potential customers. And the interactions were great, right? Because people would walk by your booth, you'd track some to stop, you get a chance to actually demo the software. They'd get a meaningful demonstration of the software, and they'd sign up as a warm lead. So I'd come back from a small show with maybe 100 leads. I'd come back from maybe a slightly larger show with a few hundred leads. And you'd feel good about them because they're warm leads, right? You actually got to talk to these people. They got to see the product. You got to see the response to the product. And a relatively larger number of those people would convert because of the fact that you were face-to-face and had all this contact time with the customer. But here's the problem. So, I do a bunch of trade shows every year, come back with hundreds of leads, get good conversion. But at the end of the day, the number was too small. The top line number, the number of people I was reaching was far too small. Even if my conversion rate was high, the top line number was not allowing me to reach enough people to grow the business the way I needed to grow the business. And that happens every day to new business owners, in some cases experienced business owners, because they don't know that conversion number. So let's talk about conversion for a moment. So if you reach 100 people, whether it's social media or radio advertising, TV, newspaper, whatever, how many of those people are actually going to buy your product? In most cases, if you're doing pretty well, it might be 1%, 2%, 3%. If they're unqualified leads, totally cold, unqualified, it's going to be a decimal of a percent. So much smaller. It could be as 1/1000 or one every few hundred people. Which means that when you're doing a social media post or whatever, and you're getting some likes and shares, and you're feeling really good, wow, all these people are really loving what I'm doing here, they're going to turn into customers. They're not going to turn into customers. They're not. Only a small, tiny fraction are going to turn into customers, which means you always got to be thinking about how many people are you reaching and what that conversion rate is. That conversion rate is 1%, 2%, 3%, then you probably have to reach a huge number of people to make sure you're profitable, right? And remember, that's if you're doing stuff for free, just on your time. If you're actually paying for advertising, then it becomes even more difficult. You pay $1,000 in advertising to reach a certain number of people. Not only do you have to get that $1,000 back, it has to come back in profit. And in most businesses, your sales are not 100% profit, right? The average business might have only 10% net profit margin. If you're doing really great, 10 or 20%, but you might only have 10% net profit margin, which means if you're spending $1,000 in advertising, you got to sell $10,000. That $1,000 in advertising has to trigger $10,000 in revenue just to cover the $1,000 expense. You haven't even made any money yet, just to cover the $1,000 expense. So you always got to be thinking, am I reaching enough people? And don't ever get lulled into feeling good because you're seeing likes and shares and people saying whatever about your business, because the numbers are probably not high enough. You need to boost those numbers as much as possible, because your conversion rate is going to filter the vast majority of those people who are never going to buy from you. So don't ever get lulled into this sense of complacency, feeling good, unless you understand that number, that top line number, and your conversion number. Anyway, I hope you find that helpful. Hope it's helpful in your business and your life. I'm Mathew Georghiou. Follow me, or you can find me on LinkedIn and other places.